I think that Oregon is gonna favor GK a lot more than both Night Haven Lab and Skyscraper, because now they're allowed to really be fluid on the map, and someone like Hashom is really gonna shine through. I think Noodle, Leader, so the whole team and how their philosophy is when Leader is calling for these guys, says, guys, start on the strat, you go here, you go there, play together, do your thing, and make that magic work.
Operator bands underway. Nomad. An interesting ban from GK, really not
right
something
out the
you
gate.
see. Right out the gate. Maybe to stop some of those flanks that you see coming up from basement off to the times. That's going to be kind of where we see that being played out. Might suggest that GK are going to go for a bit more of an aggressive play style, maybe roaming in the basement whilst defending top floor.
Yeah.
Theory crafting a little bit here, but you never know. And then like a Brava ban coming through on Oregon. Nick, why?
I mean, it's the counter intel, right? We saw Geekay play Brava on Night Haven Lab a little bit. And yeah, okay, you can say, okay, Brava's banned. What about the Twitch? Well, that's true. You can always play the Twitch, but it has not been the case as of yet. Maybe it's the weaker gun, lower preference, whatever the case might be. I like these more target-oriented bans because Fenrir, for example, just kind of banned time and time again, where neither team wants to deal with that operator. They both want to have free, clear entryways throughout the building where they can see and take those fights.
Yeah, all of these bans as well. We've seen both of these teams play Oregon once throughout Atlanta thus far. Wolves banning the Kaid is the only repeat ban that we've seen before, so clearly they're not too thrilled about running EMPs when they want to attack that basement.
Yep.
Just get it out of the way, not something that they want to worry about in this map, and so they won't. They'll start on an attack here as we go downstairs. A lot of powerful operators still up, of course. Mira can be really good for this bottom floor. We're seeing her being played right now. Souls will be active potentially for some of those basement roams if we see them, which again, maybe you'd like the Nomad for, however, it's not going to be available to you. And otherwise, you know, we've got Valkyrie up, we've got Azami up, a lot of strong options coming through from both teams.
Yeah, like also an attack, right? When you see this basement stronghold of a site, when you're attacking, you're thinking Flores, Twitch, Ying, maybe a cheeky blitz every now and again. You need those kind of operators that can break apart the bomb site, because unlike on Skyscraper, this bomb site and this map in general, it does not live or die on the roam. It more often than not comes down to the bomb site itself in like a 5v5 or a 4v4, and attackers, they have that difficult job of problem solving all the way through.
And we talked a little bit about defender-sided maps, and for both these teams, when they previously played Oregon, the maps were extremely defender-sided. GK had a 4-2 defensive half the first time they played Oregon. Wolves had a 5-1 defensive half the last time they were here.
All right, well, for those of you that have not necessarily been following along from the beginning, what is at stake in this particular map is a spot on the main stage. 2 teams are left to secure the final 2 spots at the Atlanta Major main stage on Friday. Next up is Bleed and SSG. One of them will play on the main stage. Will a second North American team make it, or will the first Southeast Asian team make it? Here, the first Middle Eastern team could make it, as GK, despite playing with the sub, are hailing from that Middle Eastern region. Wolves want to be another EU team to get representation as well. So far, EU and Brazil have had no problem whatsoever qualifying for the main stage. The only representative from NA has been Dark Zero so far. A lot on the line. The first Middle Eastern team to ever qualify for main stage. Could we witness it? Well, there are 15 rounds that will determine their fate, but more importantly, their play will also determine their fate.
The mirror window in Laundry was on the other side of the wall than usual, and the purple shield was put down to cover that line of sight, but that's been destroyed now by the Forest Drone from Beeple. So we see Wolves already paying good respect to the setup here, picking it apart. Forest Drone's going out. He banned up machine on the board. Mocha doing the best thing the thing that he does best, rather, finding that opening kill to Noodle, a very important player that played that pillar Shackle spot, and this is exactly how you want your basement attack to start off.
Yeah, and you do it without wasting any utility. They still got both frag grenades in the pocket. They still got both their smokes. They got loads of flashes. I mean, that's a free pick onto Noodle. You're super happy to get that for a bomb site that we typically say is extremely strong for the defense.
And not just anybody, but Noodle has been the best player so far from GK in this best of 3 up to this point. You know, not that the other players haven't shown signs of brilliance, but when you've been looking at these kills, when you're looking at making space and using your utility effectively, you've got Noodle leading the way. To lose him early is pretty damning.
And that's the mirror I spoke of. It's on the other side of the wall, so then the keeper bearer is keeping it up, but look at this. Tricks the swing, so now it evens back to a 4 versus 4.
Mowgli to die inside of blue. Key with a shotgun out to finish off Shinka as Hasham has also died. 30 seconds remaining as it's a deceptively fast round on Oregon as we've come to expect. Trix seeing the gridlock of P4, but she absorbs bullets like nobody's business, and because that nitro cell was used earlier, you can't stop the plant. P4 another kill, and it's a leader in a 1v2. 8 trades, but it doesn't matter if he kills P4 because Bibu is still alive with the kit down. First round goes to the French.
And as he screams as a madman, I want to credit Bibu in that round. You know, we had the smoke of Trix, or I believe it was Trix, somebody, playing close up onto the E-box door with the shotgun, with the smoke out. Bibu drops through the smoke through E-box, swings the corner, pre-fires, hits a headshot onto the smoke, holding the shotgun angle. The smoke should always be able to win that. That's a very favorable gunfight for him. But Bibu says, I don't care about the favorability of this gunfight. I'm going to take it. I'm going to rush in. I'm going to get that kit on the ground. His teammates were in perfect positions. They had freezer control, they had pillar control, and again, I do point to that early death from Noodle as one where maybe it wasn't the thing that completely collapsed the castle, but it was the most avoidable death. Like, look at this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like the fact that 2 members of Geekay, they push up together to try and make something happen, but again, if you're pushing up to the outside of the building and the attacker's already there, he has the angle on lock. And there was one thing that I was kind of fearing for Wolves when map number 1 started. If they keep being this loud and energetic, by map 3, are their voices going to be shut? Can they still make communication happen? Can they still call out in the game? Because they are screaming every single round. And it's been a while since we had like a funky round with some funky operators. And we saw Cavita ones, Armorer runs. Finally, it's happened. Bibu on Blitz, right? On Oregon, on another basement attack. So I love this when teams, they attack, you know, a bomb site a certain way. The defenders, they lose it, they go back there again, and then the attackers, they change things completely around.
And Key started on the top floor playing smoke,
Yeah.
which is extremely odd. He's going to get back now. He dropped the attic hatch, was able to retreat back down through tower stairs, so no issue here. But what it's done is it's actually drawn the attention of Wolves. I think they recognized that there was somebody up here playing aggressive. It wasn't a heavy committal, right? It's a smoke. If he had died up here, it would have been real bad. But they do at least distract this, and they get a pick out of it anyways. Mowgli, aggressive on the top floor, taken down by Noodle on those tower stairs. Excellently played from the very short-lived roam of Geekay.
Yeah. Bibu's following up very quickly with P4 in tow. P4 already doing better through 1 round on Oregon through the vast majority of that skyscraper matchup. So as you can see, the ebb and flow that goes with these games, just as we saw back in the very first map, Key didn't get a single kill, period. Already got 1 through the first round of Oregon and did significantly better as well, if memory serves me correctly, going positive or close to on Skyscraper. So depth for both of these teams, a very common thing to see.
Yeah, this is almost the first round replayed, but it's flipped now. The defenders get that opening kill. Mowgli, who got the kill into Noodle, now died to Noodle instead. And again, now it's on to Bibu, I think, as that initiator to just drop the hatch and go for the picks.
Always nice to see those hatches blow in synchronization, but it's a joint effort. Shinka so far the only kill for Wolves through this second round, and a second attempt on defense on the same bomb site. Geekay wanting to go back down to laundry supply room so quickly, and with Bibu being the only one left alive at the tail end of that first round, I think they thought it was close enough. We can make some small adjustments and prevail. Right now, if you're betting, it's good to bet money on Geekay as they double up in a 4v2.
Yeah.
Talks to Babe again, forces Shinka out of where he wanted to plant. He's really exposed now, actually, in the bomb site. Key or Trix could maybe get an angle, but he goes deep. That's a nice little position from him. Noodle in the back lines finds a big pick, 3rd on the round from him. Now it's just Shinka in a terrible spot. 1, 2. Hold on. Trix 3. 4 kills coming through from Shinka. It's just Leader now in the 1v1. Can he find this frag? He's got the bearing 9. No! Leader clutches it out just barely. Almost the ace, the play of the map, but not quite.
You know, Leader did something very small in that 1 versus 1. He kind of sat back for just a second, let the adrenaline kind of slip away from Shinka there, and then went for the swing. You saw Shinka's face there, just kind of back in his chair saying, oh, I had that, but then he didn't. What a phenomenal attempt of a clutch, but realistically, it should have never been that close.
Certainly not.
No, and I mean, while that was an unbelievable effort by Shinka, that one in particular, the zoom-in headshot, I do want to say I feel like in some ways he misplayed that final engagement. I don't know if you need to go for that level of a wide swing when you know where their position is. I don't think he was in any imminent danger of getting swung from that laundry area. Do you disagree with me?
I don't. I think you're absolutely correct.
You were making
Parker.
faces.
No, I was just...
You were making faces.
It was a fun round.
I mean, I'll play the devil's advocate then, because I think when you're in a 1 versus 4, for example, 1 versus 5 or whatever, and then you get, you know, the first kill, the second kill, oh, whatever, not a big deal. But it comes down to the 1v1, your brain goes, wait a second, this is all of a sudden a winnable position. Oh, snap, I'm nervous, right? And if you let yourself kind of, I don't know, I think if you just sit on that for too long, you start shaking in the 1v1. So utilize the adrenaline, the hype that you have, and go for that moment, seize that opportunity. And sure, it might have been a quote-unquote wrong play because he didn't win the gunfight, but let's say it played up for 20 seconds longer, Shinka starts shaking, losing that confidence, it falls apart.
Life as a support player, you nearly clutch. The adrenaline is pumping. Now get on hard breach, grab that defuse kit, and start droning, boy, because
my God.
round 3 is underway. And of course, Wolves, they'll be attacking onto the top floor. Now, here come the drones inside of Armory. There is a nade from Mowgli. Actually, this should land. It does indeed. Brilliantly played. The intel there. No shot, he gets 2. Leave. Hasham, a terrible position. So close, he still might die.
How is he still alive in that position? Goodness gracious.
It barely is. It's 1 HP. Wolves, though, I mean, they go 1-1, right? But they've already beaten 1 basement bomb on an attack. That's what we're kind of gotta look at here. When you're attacking Oregon, how many times do you win on the basement attack? Because that defines the half. They're in an excellent position, despite being on even ground tier numbers. And now, on this 3rd round, they got the opening kill, almost got a second, and they still got P4 in the lurk on side of Big Tower as well.
That's why you don't really see people playing inside of Armory. The vertical play is so bad. P4, wait a minute. He's got a free opportunity, but he missed the shot. A little bit eager on the trigger. And a little bit early means that he's going to miss out on that kill. And Leader escapes with his life. Potentially the late reinforce this too.
Oh yeah, there it is. This is like, when you only got 4 members alive, you can't hold onto the entirety of the maps. You got to reinforce something off and kind of pick and choose what you care about the most. Funny enough, though, it's Hasham, Armory, and Trophy. Newton's at the Master Bedroom closet, actually. A crossfire being established to hold onto Master Bedroom.
Yeah, this position from Noodle, a little bit risky, but you are in the 4v5, so you kind of need to get a little risky. Mowgli, I believe, knows that he's in there. He's holding the angle. Really a game of chicken, but Noodle doesn't have a whole lot to gain as he's just sitting in here. Mowgli, I guess the time is ticking on down. A lot of the players in Wolves have actually rotated over towards the big window side of this. P4 droning up the white stairs. They're actually completely changing what this take looks like, and they're actually getting ready to jump on in.
Just under a minute to go now with the Mowgli needing to push up through Trophy to start to apply that pressure across the way, but Noodle will have that angle covered. Shinka dies, a 4v4. They change things up, but you cannot let the clock continue to get away from you. Mowgli attempting to see if somebody will make their way towards that games area, but nobody will. Couldn't tell what was being tossed out, and there he goes, running into the waiting arms of Noodle. Leader with 1 as well. Wolves tripping over themselves as now it's Deadshot on white stairs. Last one standing for Wolves. No way to do it based on time. And it's the Deagle from Hasham to get the final pick and give Geekay their 2nd round.
It looks so good for Wolves, though. They got the pick, a lot of damage to the Hasham, and I think the rotate adaptation was quite good. Going big window, going wide staircase, having mode to capture on the master bedroom balcony, but nothing really happened after they rotated. It was like Shinka or P4 dying outside the big window, and it just kind of they fell flat. Nothing happened afterwards. No clear sign of engagement, no execute, no flashbangs went out. I'm not entirely sure what the plan was there for Wolves.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem was. We had Shinka alone outside of big window with the fuse kit in hand. Leader goes for a massive swing, absolutely puts him into the dirt. That means the fuse kit's cold on the ground. Nobody else is there for a good maybe 15, 20 seconds. Bibu eventually rotated over. He eventually picked up the kit, and what happens? Leader swings again. He takes them out one more time on the big window angle. The fuse kit was never in their control. They had some pressure, white stairs, but ultimately with that kit cold on the ground, Geekay knew they were in a really strong position and easily able to convert that top floor round into a good win. So despite the fact that they really had a good start on the Armory side there from Wolves, that switch over to the dorm side where they were trying to go in through the big window, it just didn't find success.
And that's the thing, like, it's a good adaptation to make because it makes sense on paper, but it is harder to attack that side of the map. So you hope that it's weak, that it catches them by surprise, but it didn't. The thing at Oregon is, it's one of the most played maps historically throughout all of Siege Pro League. So any team can play it, a ranked stack can play it. Catching opponents by surprise, it's difficult to do, especially about like an Amaru or a Blitz or a Lion to kind of speed things up tremendously.
Fast phone calls coming through from P4 to try to force out some of these top floor players. We do see them sticking around more or less, though. Trix, Noodle, and Leader all up here forming a bit of a triangle as Trix falls off. That leaves just two. We have the Smoke of Big Tower as well, who could maybe come in for a late rotate, but it's not currently there. Mowgli supported kind of in the back. Bibu, big window. Try to force some positions through, but they're going to just start walking into some angles unless this nade can do some magic. But at the moment, they're still just trying to find an angle in.
This seems like the final 30 seconds, but it's not quite as Mowgli pulls out the nade, then the gun, pulls the gun back out, walks on in. GK with a single kill, Leader picking up 2 for the same price. Sitting right now at 7-11, and he's going to work for a quad. He gets it, but dies, an ace denied. Shinka again will be put in a clutch scenario. This time, though, with far fewer players to go against. A 1v2 with still 1 minute and 30 to go. Probably more winnable for Wolves than you'd think.
I mean, Leader was a turret in that round, just standing his ground, getting 4 kills single-handedly. And now my Shaman and K just gotta play together. Crossfire's there, Freezes there, and Zulu just wait for that swing.
I was making fun of the enunciation.
Yeah, I missed it.
But you couldn't hear what I was saying. Jesse didn't pick up on it.
Okay.
I'm oblivious. I was lost.
He was too busy. He was too busy doing his numbers. Shinka rushing in. Bit of disorientation. A show finishing it. Some curse words being sent their way. GK 3-1.
Too busy doing my numbers indeed. I'll tell you those numbers. 9 and 2. That's Leader's KD right now. He has been ridiculous through 2 rounds. Again, having those big swings on big window when they're defending dorms, and then playing fantastically up in a very similar position. Wasn't fighting the big window as much, but still, I mean, had so many players trying to pressure him inside of the dorms corner, playing so well. Here's the clip. Still was some players outside of big window that he was able to take on down, but man, oh man, Leader stepping up big time for GK in this matchup. And again, he's their substitute player. For him to come in, have so much good mechanical skill, it's been really great to see.
I mean, they also showed the outlines there. Wolves were a little bit separated on that push. It enabled Leader to initiate the 1 versus 1s 3 times in a row. If P4 on the white staircase is a little bit quicker, it's a crossfire that should guarantee a 1-for-1 trade, but because of the small mistiming, it's 2 separate 1 versus 1s, both of which Leader won and traded in that scenario. So small things with massive impact.
So from a side percentage point of view, Oregon's a really weird map because you've got the basement, which is so strong for defenders. You've got top floor, which is pretty good for defenders. And the other 2 bomb sites statistically are really tough for most teams to defend. The fact that we've seen Wolves now fail to attack onto the meeting room bomb site is a little bit worrying, and it may set us up if GK, they go basement here, they go dorms in round number 6. A 5-1 split is really in the cards for GK now. Wolves, they've already won 1 basement attack. Not really the start they're looking for. That's actually exactly the start that happened when they lost their basement attack.
Yeah, I think you cast a curse in there, JC, because that's usually what that is. And Mowgli always in the first battle, winning or losing it. Ayana, not the biggest loss of operator these days, doesn't have that set of grenades any longer, but you still lose all that fragging potential, the power that Mowgli brings. And the thing about Oregon is, it's hard to find a kill elsewhere. We see Defender hiding upstairs. They know there's somebody not where he is. That's a messy one. He goes to the runaway instead. Could have just, fought it out, but didn't.
Yeah, so we saw this roam from the smoke top floor from Key attempted in round, I believe it was round number 2, and he fell off really quickly. He decided to back off. This time, his teammates get the kill, but he doesn't really have the space to retreat back through tower. They shut that down really quickly on the side of Wolves.
Honestly, I know this might seem very simple, but if Mowgli dies early, I think that's a huge win for GK every single round.
Yep.
Obviously, we saw that almost clutch by Shinka earlier. Bibu's popped off a couple times. Deadshot had moments of brilliance as well on Skyscraper. But the win win condition for Wolves is really just as simple as Mowgli staying alive, getting a couple early picks, and setting up the rest of the team to do the job that they need to do. If Mowgli's not there to give their team that lead, that early space, then the rest of the team seems to struggle to recover. And look at that. P4 not droning out. Nobody's seeing the position that Noodle was in. Now Deadshot very quick to follow up, but again is going to do it with limited intel. And he can be swung from both sides of basement. One by Pillar, one from Harry Potter. Deadshot softened up, still not able to find his first kill.
Really tough spot here.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to work with at this point? You do have some flashes, some smokes, I suppose, but...
What?
Okay, you'll take what's free.
I'm not sure about the prone peek there, I gotta be honest. But hey, sometimes you try and catch opponents by surprise, and sometimes you get got.
Hey, Deadshot's in the land of the free right now, okay? And he's just learning from the best, because NA gave up every single game so free as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big tough.
That is-
Unrelated, we cast SSG next with Bleed.
Yeah.
For that last shot. Could see, again, we could see one of those two teams, including a second NA team, make it to the main stage. Leader, a relatively easy kill on Nishinka, knows there's somebody else inside a freezer. Huge round from Leader, goodness gracious. And what do the numbers say now, stat boy?
Numbers now say 1, 1, 2, 11 kills, 2 deaths coming through from Leader after that round. Ridiculous performance from him. Those last two, not the hardest earned, but he gets them regardless. He's in a really smart position to find those frags, which I think is the key thing for him that in that round. Really aggressive defense from Geekay. Really odd operator lineup. That really felt like a defense that could have been punished. I think if Wolves were a little bit sharper on those clears, maybe they were expecting some of those maybe more aggressive swings. You know, we saw the one thrown swing down the basement. But we also saw Noodle continuing to swing around that pillar door or pillar side of things. Tower stairs, if you're able to hit some heads, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, but there were opportunities for Wolves to claw that round back. They just never took them.
Yeah, and I think the reason why a tactical timeout has yet to be called is because things that are going wrong for Wolves here are pretty small and easy to look at. I think the players recognize that. Lilo and the coach, they recognize that too. Because in the previous round, it was like the bait play from Geekay, hiding a big tower, playing for those crossfires, finding a free kill here and there. That's all you need in a basement defense. So Wolves, again, they're losing to such small things, not joining a corner, not having two bodies in the same location, losing those small individual gunfights. The rest is actually pretty clean from them. The grenade, the utility work, the droning, the entering has been pretty good, besides Mowgli dying twice. But then, like the mid-round, Geekay always has like a little bit of a cheese strat hiding in a corner, or rather punishing Wolves, should I say, successfully.
Yeah, and I will say, I gave some copium back in Skyscraper when I said the defense is very strong. We can see the same thing. The stats are still the same. We see Geekay being the worst attacking entry team in the tournament, and we see Wolves being extremely proficient at converting defensive opening picks. So, you know, when we swap sides, even if this is a 5-1, it's not over for Wolves. I think the big thing is going to be, can they keep that momentum up? Can they keep the mental going? Can they keep yelling and barking in the studio as they have been? Because when we swap sides, this half's gone.
Oh my.
Well, that might be what you need to get the momentum
What did I say in
rolling.
the previous round? What did I say about Mowgli in the previous round?
I don't listen to what you say.
He was like, when Mowgli gets to kill big win condition, that's how they can...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They live,
So you do
die.
I'll listen to what Nick says.
You lied. Can't say yeah, because what Mowgli did there.
He got that grenade kill, baby.
Great.
I mean, we always praise him for being a good gunner, but his nade usage has been phenomenal so far in this PlayStation series. So many grenade kills, and Noodle now, again, just looking for those openings, proning below a window, seeing anybody comes around that area of the map, but they don't. Wolves, they played smart. They're playing far back, droning, holding angles, expecting aggression somewhere, and not really risking dying, because last time they attacked this bomb site, as you said, Jesse, they got swung in that big window, and they lost because of it.
So with a minute 23 to go on the side of Wolves, I'm a little confused what this push is really going to try to accomplish. I assume they're all like kind of big window side. They're probably playing down instead of showers. We have Mowgli going to go for a bit of a pinch here over into the armory. Key's job is going to be to deal with that. He tosses a C4, doesn't find it. With the rotate from Mowgli happening to go over towards armory, he finds another Kiba over here. Noodle on the white stairs though. Sorry, Hasham finds Deadshot instead. That's going to be a big pick.
Absolutely, and Deadshot has not really had the performance through this first half that we know he can live up to. Sham being potentially pinned down as that drop is going to come in. Shinka dies, as does Mowgli. Hasham's patience rewarded now as Bibu inside of Attic has tons of bullets in Ying's LMG and 2 Candelas as well in back pocket. So he could potentially flush his way towards the next step. But there's a shotgun waiting by the door. Hisham, a big three-piece. Up the main stairs he will go. Armory stairs for a quad kill. Will he let somebody else take it? Right now, I suppose, Geekay just wants the kill. Doesn't matter who does it. Hisham is rushing in to try and do the job himself. What the hell is that? Key gets the final pick. Hisham wanted it so badly. Jumping around like a jackrabbit inside of Attic. Ultimately, that first half, so dominant. Yeah. Geekay up 5-1.
Yeah, and the thing is, the mid-round for Wolves is so poor, but the early round is so good, and it sucks to see because most teams struggle to build an early lead. Wolves don't. They get it every single time, but they don't build upon it, right? They got the Ying. They want to get to that bomb site. Kendelas goes out, smokes, chaos, kills, etc., but they never get there. They always fall apart in the setup phase, in the middle of things, and then Geekay just kind of runs away with it. Look at this. Sprint down the hallway, gets shut down. Jump in the window, shut down. No chance.
This one is not necessarily a surprise because he saw the barrel of the gun for so long, but I mean, just how well positioned Hisham was in that particular round. He was everywhere, all at the same time, over by the bottom of White Stairs, moving back to Armory Stairs. He was omnipresent.
He was everywhere indeed. And again, we saw Wolves try to go for that big window style push. And it's confusing to me because you tried that for the first Storm's attack and it went really bad. And then you died again trying to push onto big window when you were attacking onto the middle floor bomb site. You go for it for a third time and Shinka dies to Noodle. Maybe you're thinking we killed Leader, the threat's gone, big window will be open. But no, Noodle was there instead. Big headshot onto Shinka as he jumps in big window. That's defused, kick cold on the ground. And it's a 5-1 half for Geekay.
I think the good thing is here, though, side swap comes into effect, right? Wolves don't gotta worry about the attacks. What happened doesn't matter. They got the one round, a basement attack, actually, the hardest one to win, somehow. And now they can just go on defense. They will start downstairs, of course. Not really a choice here. If you can't go basement on Organ, you will go basement on Organ, especially when Mira is open. Geekay, they got a problem solved now. They got that one operator that they can break things apart. The Capital, the fire and the smokes. They can go for a front take or a back take, but either way, it'll be Leader who's going to be leading the charge.
The last time we saw Wolves play Oregon against M80, that ended up being a 5-1 defensive half, don't forget, which if we see again, would be overtime. Now in that game, it was a 4-2 defensive half for M80, which meant it was a 7-5 game overall, of course. So it would be not quite as good of a result because they did do a little better on attack last time. But still, again, Wolves, strong defensive team. They're very good on Oregon. I expect them to see at least the first couple of rounds be pulled back. If they lose a basement, though, then I'm very worried. This round's important to win.
It absolutely is. You want to stay off, match point if you're Wolves for as long as possible and just kind of feel like you have space to work with. Risk assessment. If you're down on match point, serious point, are you going to go for those aggressive swings? Are you going to take those risks? Probably not. So as long as they can keep this 5 scoreline for Geekay, the better for them.
Leader going bunker with the Capitao is a very odd choice. Usually you see that over by E-Box. If he dies and he can get swung by Shinka potentially, maybe Mowgli as well if he's around there, you could be in a bit of a rough spot. Minute 14, still 2 players on the big tower stairs, kind of trying to peek down now too.
I mean, we've seen 3 major applications of Capitao. E-Box, cut off elbow, and cut off the main entry to laundry. It really just depends on how you stack up the rest of your players. Now, in this particular instance, you've got a Warden governing over Pillar. Nice shot, but the Warden is no more. A huge C4 from P4 as Key and Noodle die, leaving just Hisham and Leader, who's still over by Blue. There's that elbow smoke that I talked about. So now you set up a fight towards Pillar and E-Box, but he doesn't have any information. Another smoke to go out. Okay, just a little bit deeper in this time. Maybe buy some time with just 30 seconds remaining. Hard to imagine Geekay bail themselves out of this particular situation. It'll just have to be a frag fest as Leader walks up, doing damage to Shinka, but with a shotgun at close range, Leader will lose that one every single step of the way. Hisham is dead to Bibu, so Wolves look almost certain to pick up their second round, denying Geekay match point. And this is a huge win for Wolves, who desperately need to keep themselves and their heads in this match. The timer running out. P4 technically gets the last kill, but it was already over.
Disaster avoided. You don't lose the basement bomb site. You're happy about this. Standard defense as usual for Wolves. Geekay not able to make it down through the E-box hatch. It's a tough one, obviously. Mowgli starting off with a big opening pick on that Warden as well. Didn't need the utility, but had it up anyways. I think that this is not a worrying round for Geekay. Maybe it would have been nice to see perhaps some Candelas, some more pressure to apply to that Warden, right? It felt like they kind of just dropped. They did drop, you know, coordinatedly. They got the trade immediately onto Mowgli, which is great. However, if you have more utility going in there, maybe you've got some nades coming through. This C4 from P4, obviously, it's really tough to deny that, so it's not a lot you can do about that. It's good timing to come through. They had the beeper, you heard it too on the replay, which kind of prompted that C4 to come on through. So solid defense from Wolves. You expect to win this bomb site. There was the game against VP where they often didn't win that bomb site, and so it's good to see them turning it around and winning it here.
It's kind of like statistically right now. If you're a fan of GK, you think, okay, what's the easiest way to win this or go to OT? Well, that's to win the tertiary bomb site attack. That's really it, because if you do that one time, you're guaranteed overtime because you're a match point. Do it this, and that's it. And then if you do it the second time, it's looking really good for you. So Wolves, they gotta go flawless in the bomb site rotation, win 3 in a row preferably, get the reset, get that first base in bomb site, but then they still gotta fight on secondary or tertiary afterwards. This comeback is gonna be very long for Wolves.
Been running the numbers, and Deadshot appears to be 1-6. Playing the Oryx this round, not in T3, as Trix will now find out. Jumping on in is with the Amaru. Deadshot's going to be playing down below inside a meeting. He's got the attic hatch open, actually, and as you can see, the attic walls are being reinforced. So Deadshot, if those get opened up, maybe could come for a late flank. If we want to see them coming through and opening it through attic and trying to push that way, that flank could work out from Deadshot. He's also got the kids hatch opened up as well, which he has an opportunity to come up through, and of course the staircase is always available for him too, so we'll see if there's any impact coming through from that.
No.
He got it.
No, okay.
That was kind of sick.
That was dope. Not sure if intended, but yeah.
Watching Tony Hawk's Pro Skater there as he was able to do some nice grinds, nice trick before getting it in, and Bibu's just going to continue to plug this hole and impact to destroy the hard breach on the double panel wall from closet into games. Bibu's expecting a follow-up, but has not been received just yet. They need to flush him out of the spot, or else leader Selmas are going to continue to meet that fate. Good news is at least one Selma should go off as long as you stagger them, because there's only one impact remaining from Bibu.
Well, Mowgli has a second one if he didn't need it, but maybe the flashman does trick. Nope. The second impact goes out. Second Selma gets denied. Mowgli has not rotated though, so the third one should. Oh, he has.
He's there.
He denied the third one as well. There it is.
Oh!
Brilliant rotation. Exactly what they needed to do. They had no more impacts after that, so they had 3 impacts, 3 Selmas. They go 1 for 1 for 1. Perfect.
Just a little over a minute left. Nobody died, even though you can see some damage being done. Caster cursed Mowgli into the afterlife. My apologies for that, French fans.
Why swing when you deny the breach, right? You've locked them out. They got 2 doorways in, 1 big window. That's it. You don't need to swing now. If they had the wall opened up, maybe you go for it, but you just did a great play strategically, and now you cannot throw it away by swinging a door.
Still strong positions on site, and we do see GK relatively spread out. We've got 1 on big window, 2 in attic, 1 over by armory. The attic player is going to find a contest soon from Shinka, and they will be unlucky. The second, perhaps? No.
Oh, followed in as now the vault from leader pays off. Yes, they sacrificed the Amaru. There's more work to be done now as P4 in a very powerful spot, but the rest of his teammates are all being reduced as the numbers continue to dwindle for Wolves. Bibu is gone as well. P4 to clutch, killed on the window by Hisham. Match point for GK.
1 round away from main stage, and they do it in a round where they should not have any way to win it.
Yep.
Strategically, again, Wolves played perfectly until they didn't. And again, every single time Wolves leave a gap somewhere, Geekay take instantaneous advantage and they shut it down.
Mowgli's done so much for this team throughout the tournament. He was the reason they didn't go out on Wednesday, on the 3rd day of Swiss, when they were down 7-1, 7-1 through their first 2 days. Mowgli stepped up. He was their MVP back-to-back days. But that death, that swing is what they're going to look back to, is this is the round they should have won. This is the one that they should have been able to lock down. It's going to sting. They're not dead yet. They're not out of it yet. We got a tack timeout, of course, being called by Laloon to try to bring the boys back.
I mean, look at Shinka there. He is sitting in the corner, very quiet, hands in his face, being like, okay, boys, this is not a good feeling, right? We're in a bad position. And Shinka's an individual kind of, he flies under the radar, I feel like, because of Mowgli, right?
Yeah.
Where he is the backbone of this team. He is phenomenal in the clutches, in the 1vx, etc. But today, Shinka has not really found himself alive to do those kind of things. In the majority of these rounds, he dies early, he dies first, and it's not a good look. Shinka is strongest when he can clutch it out, not the strongest to entry in throughout the building, and now it's do or die for Wolves.
And they go meeting, right? This is
yeah, turn 3.
This is round number 9, okay? So whatever bomb site you win here, you'll have one more chance. That means that they will only have to defend dorms one more time, assuming they're successful, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to get 2 dorms successful defenses. They're going to have to do it on meeting twice or meeting and dining. I'm just assuming they win the basement bomb site too because they need to.
They should.
So really, this is an interesting call by them. I think it speaks confidence from Wolves that they do have a 3-site rotation, that they are good on this site. We saw Geekay starting with a very similar, I believe the exact same op lineup they ran on the last round. They switched it up a little bit once they realized what the bomb site will be. All right, Wolves meeting defense. Let's see what you got.
I do think from a mental perspective as well, if you get this one out of the way and you're successful, you're thinking, okay, great, now we go to the stronger bomb sites, right? You build up some of those rounds and you might make that comeback look possible. Whereas, let's say you go like basement first, the strongest bomb site, it's like, okay, it only gets worse from here on out, so to speak. So I like this from a player perspective, but the thing is, there is the theoretical outcome and then the real outcome. And when you got the Ying, the Amaru, the Finger, the Lion, you're fighting utility, you can't move at the same time, and you can't see a damn thing against Cadillas.
This is most pressure that this GK team has ever felt, I would argue.
Yeah.
And you might be able to seal the deal with an early pick. Trixt slingshotting his way into dorms. Agara hook pulled out, ready for it. There go Candelas to try and soften up that big window, and in they go. Trick's good enough for one, immediately flicking over, pulling it off. Good trigger discipline to almost get a kill onto his own teammate. But Mowgli and Deadshot removed from action puts Wolves in such a devastating position, even if they did refrag by killing you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly what you wanted. Candelas were in, Lion Charge was in, Trix finds the 2K. This is exactly what they need. Now, the one thing they have, P4's got Valk cams in sight. That was massive for them on Skyscraper. That won them so many late round defenses. It's going to get scrappy here on meeting. It's going to get scrappy when they go in for the kitchen plants. They're going to need to rely on that intel from the Valkyrie to be able to push them through and win this last one. Wow, there it is.
But the thing is, the attackers at Geekay, they have no soft destruction, right? You get upstairs control, great. You get the 2 kills, phenomenal. But you can't do much with this. Leader on Ace has claymores, not soft breaches, and you can't deny those key positions downstairs inside of the bomb site, inside of servers. So you're forced to work with the last smoke grenade, not Candela. You have a single smoke to your name, 1 grenade, 1 flashbang. Besides that, it's just 4 guns against 3.
I like that you noticed that. I mean, so much utility was used to get those first 2 picks, and I think it's inarguable that it was absolutely worth it. But now you've made the job harder from this point forward. You made it easier by getting the 2 picks, but that's where the rubber meets the road now, is you're going to have to just go in essentially dry, and the defenders will have some utility to thwart.
Gonna be tough here inside P4, a little bit alone. Not really having teammates too near him. You've got Bibu all the way back inside of meeting. Shinka somewhere as well, trying to help on out P4. They don't know he's here necessarily.
They have intel. This could work out in favor of Wolves. The 3 against the 4. Key missing out, seeing the Valkyrie for a second, buying time, knows he's under watch as the diffuser goes down, but numbers will equalize. The greater foe at the moment, the timer, as Shinka drops, Bibu's gone as well. P4, last one standing to keep Wolves in this with a tiny bit of HP, using the Valkyrie cam set up before, but history is made! Our first Middle Eastern team to play on main stage, GK, neuter the Wolves.
And they deserve it. Oh my God, the teams they had to go through to get to this spot. They played a ridiculous